Welcome to the Scotty P podcast. Man, I'm here today with a very special individual, Alex Chinchilla. Man, you saw my Matt Brooks podcast. You reached out to me, told me you wanted me to come check out your business, which is Hormesis.
Correct.
And you invited me. It's essentially a place for therapy for red light therapy, cold therapy, heat therapy,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And so you invited me out for a session. Me and my girl, we got to come here and I got to do a little bit of so you have like pretty much like state of the art cold tub. And then you got, man, a super nice sauna. You know, you were telling me no glues, no finish. So it's like you're not doing any soaps to wash the towels or nothing. So this is like, you're essentially going super green, super healthy, avoiding like all the toxic stuff that we pretty much are constantly ingesting and surrounded by. And you're taking like this path of pretty much people can come here to suffer, right? And you invited me out, man. I checked it out and this place is awesome. And we had a little talk on the phone and you're telling me about all the Marines that you help. And man, I watched you stand on a freaking bed of nails. I can't even put one foot on there. This dude stood all weight, both feet on there. So man, you've impressed me in just the very small amount of time I met you. But if you want to go ahead and give the audience a little background and tell them who you are.
Well, my name is Alex Chinchilla. And like you said, we opened up Hormesis. We believe with a lot of sports injuries, with a lot of different things, just day-to-day stress. Originally, we were trying to do something at home. We have a sauna at home, and I was looking at different cold plunges, and I've been doing cryo and doing different things, injuries, red light therapy, and then I didn't really know much about red light therapy when I first started doing it. And I thought, okay, let's try something different. And then I started doing more research and realized, oh my God, man, there's so many benefits from anti-aging, stress relieving, it helps with your mitochondria. That's the main purpose of the red light therapy, and heal wounds, the wounds that it helps you heal a lot faster, and it's all documented stuff. They've done a lot of research. And then the cold plunging, everybody knows the cold therapy, and the people that don't know, especially in jiu-jitsu or MMA, any type of soccer players, football players, everyone's been doing cold plunging, ice baths and everything for a long time. But we figured, okay, we'll do something at home. And our neighbors, that they wanted to do something, they could come over and then pay us a little fee or something like that to use our units. And then the wife and I go, well, no one's doing it in this area. It's well needed, not just for sports injuries, but for the mental aspect of relaxation, detoxing, rejuvenation, the wellness that it embodies our mind, body, and soul, and we decided to open something up in this area in Humble. And it's been, it's like anything else. It's a process, but what you get out of it, I think you come here with all the madness that's out there, with all the stress, work, kids, sports, the food that we eat. So we need to detox a lot of that stuff, alcohol, tobacco, who knows what anybody does, but you come in here, you detox, and you get that dopamine, endorphin, and then you could top it off with that red light therapy, and then you rejuvenate and you leave out of here, we believe, 100% better,
Yeah.
I mean, just the people that have been showing up that have some sports injuries, knee, ankles, hips, they leave and they call or text or reply and say, hey man, we feel so much better, want to try it again, and the people that do this more often understand why they're doing it, because we put a lot of stress into our body and we need something to release that stress.
Yeah, it's funny how in order to release stress, you maybe have to go through a little bit of stress, right?
And that's what Hormesis is. You're putting your body into hormetic stress to release stress. And you work out, you go to the gym, what do? You tear your muscles to build muscles. So same concept, that's what we're doing. You're putting your body to stress because our immune system will build up a stress factor that helps us, tolerate stress a little better. So you're not going into stress factors sooner than later,
Right. Yeah, it's such a funny thing too, because if you talk to like recovery experts, a lot of them will tell you that if you want to, put your body in heal mode, you can do like a light jog for 30 to 45 minutes. Like you're not trying to push yourself, but you're supposed to move. You're not supposed to just sit in bed the whole day. You're supposed to get your heart rate. They have like a very specific, right? Based on your age and where you're at. It's like you kind of, you want to get it to like just above to where you're just breaking a light sweat and working a little bit and you're just chilling. And then, it puts your body into this like recovery mode. So, cause I know an athlete, his name's Colabate, young kid, man, savage.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep. This guy does jiu-jitsu. What am I talking about? And he was saying that on his rest day, he does like an easy, like 10-mile jog. He's like, it doesn't take me very long. He's like, I just coast through it, but it helps me heal and it helps me feel better for the next day. And I'm like, dude, this kid's training 5 times a day and then on his rest day doing a quick 5-10 mile run.
For me, it would be a 2 mile.
Yeah,
jog.
2 mile.
That's a max.
Like shuffling. Yeah. So you do jiu-jitsu?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to tell me a little bit about your jiu-jitsu?
So I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I put them into jiu-jitsu. I want to, have them start jiu-jitsu. And my 8-year-old was 3 at the time, a little over 3. And we're like, let's try it, And then I'm off. Knowing me, I'm like, well, I want to learn something. I want to be able to do it. So it's not just pushing him. And then I tried it originally. I was with Checkmat in Corona, California. And I have an older son who's 32 right now. Here, make you see. Am I supposed to say your age? No. And then we tried it and we're like, let's do it. And then I forgot about my little kid and I was all in. Well, I gotta train now. But our personality is like when we go something, we go all out and we try to do the best as we can, And I've had a lot of fun. You can start getting injuries, torn tricep, meniscus, different things, and it's just part of it, But I knew what I was getting myself into, and every time I say, "No, one more injury," and then I go back at you heal, and you're like, let's go back, But I enjoy it. I think it's very important between jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, those sambo. I think those are the main martial arts that get you really into a different type of level, mental state,
Yeah.
perseverance or grit, So I think it's very important to teach that discipline for the kids and for yourself too. It pushes you, it pushes me to another extent. Another little portion of me that, all right, when things get tough, you got to get tougher.
Yeah.
So,
don't ask don't ask for things to be easier. Ask to be stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have to look at life. Life teaches you a lot of things, and life is not easy. And if you think that you got it easy, there's people that are suffering or going through things, and guess what? If they could come through it or come out of it and make them stronger, why can't we do it? Why can't we put ourselves through? And this is why we have Hormesis. Why can't we put our bodies, our minds into something tough to make you just a little bit stronger every day, just a little bit more, And eventually you realize, it wasn't as bad as you really thought at first, So
cold plunge still pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's as bad as you imagine.
Yeah. But you know what? Just like anything else, first, like I was the same way, man. I was like, oh my God, man, I can't believe someone could do this. I hate it. I felt like someone was beating my knees and mid my shins.
I feel like someone's hitting my feet and shins.
That's what it felt. I was like, no. And then I tried it again. I was still bad. I'm all like, no way. And then I said, no. I put the timer and I said, I'm going to do it to this time. And then I did it like 3 minutes and 16 seconds. I remember it was 3 minutes, and I'm like, no, I'm going to say a little longer.
Yeah, a little longer, just to seal it in.
So that's what it's like when I do a push-up, like let's just say 25 push-ups. I'll do 26.
Yeah.
To say, okay,
just in case one rep didn't count.
Yes, exactly. Just to push yourself.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
If I get that longer, just I mean, I already made it.
Yeah, you already made it.
What's 10 more seconds?
Yes, exactly. That's the same concept, you know, it's like a little more, so you push yourself a little more.
And you know, that's like a huge thing of like building habits is like, they'll tell you that don't think about the result that you have to get. Your goal should be to just get in the door, right? So if your goal is to work out and be healthy, right? So first we got to break that down into something manageable, because what people do, and as a personal training coach, I've seen my clients do this to themselves over and over again. They try to make it super complicated right off the get. They're like, oh, well, since we're going to meet up, why don't we go ahead? We'll lift for 30 minutes and we'll run for 30 minutes and we'll do, I'm like, whoa, let's do something very small. So then the idea of this habits thing is like, you know, people tell themselves that they have to do this thing, an hour a day for 3 days a week. But then when they imagine themselves having to do a whole hour, they won't even do it at all. He's like, no. You walk in the door. Your job is to just get in the door. And almost always, just from, I'm sure you know, you walk in the door, you're going to do way more than what you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go in there and I'm just going to do my sauna and get out of there. I'm just going to do 15, 20 minutes. That way I said I did it and I'm out. Then you get in there and you're like, you know what, I'm going to lift a little bit. I'm going to get a couple pump in. And then you got your pump going. You're like, you know what, I'm going to hit the bench. You know, next thing you know, you're in there for like 2 hours and you're like, hey, I got to get home and eat.
Yes. Like you said, perfect example. Get in there first. And that's one of the things that we're trying to get a lot of people to, or more people to hear about us here in Hormesis, you know, get through the door, get in here, try it out, and then tell us what you think, you know?
Right.
You go in there, sweat for 25, 30, 35 minutes. You realize it's not as bad as you originally thought for people that have never done it before.
Right.
And then how they feel afterwards, what we're trying to do, the reward. You suffer a little bit for a reward, you know?
Yes.
Delay of gratification. You put a little bit of work and then you're going to get gratified afterwards, you know? That's life, you know? And if you could learn that small dosages coming in here for a little bit, then it makes you better in life, you know, at work. If you change your habits, you know, you think used to like to get up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, start doing some meditation or start doing some type of stretches, and then like, I could just lay in there, you know, 1 more hour, you know, go to sleep for another hour. Oh, I don't have to get up till this time. Now you start building different habits and then it becomes a routine, and then you see your life changes, you know, after a few months. You know, it's not right away, but then you realize after a year, everything changed. What you used to do, some old habits become new habits, and, you know, you change for growth. So I know what you're talking about, you know, getting inside that door.
Yeah. You know, the small incremental improvements for sure. One of the big things that I really like about this place and that I really feel like it embodies, right, the whole idea of Hormesis, you know, it reminds me of stress inoculation, right? Where, you know, in the Marine Corps, you have to be able to take, you know, a kid you could regard as a savage, maybe a kid who grew up on the streets in the hood in a bad neighborhood, and they're tough, right? They're not scared of being yelled at. They can do whatever. And then you also have to be able to take a kid from the middle of nowhere who maybe grew up in his grandma's basement or, you know, didn't have any male figures in their life, and they're not very tough at all. I would say not tough at all, right? You have to take both these individuals and get them on the same page, right? And in order to do that, you have to be able to slowly build them. And both the stress for one kid and maybe discipline on the other kid, right? And so what they do is they call it stress inoculation. You give them a little bit of stress, right? You don't try to crush them. You just give them a little bit. And then over time, you know, it's like the kids who show up to boot camp, you're all pasty and fat and out of shape. And then the kids that come out of boot camp, they're all hardened with a tan and, you know, solid. And it's over time that they built this up. And so I constantly try to preach this. I got a couple of 16-year-olds in my jiu-jitsu class. I'm a head coach up at Underworld in Conroe. And I have 2 16-year-olds. And one of the biggest things I try to teach them is like, guys, find something to suffer. I mean, you guys are already doing a great job at jiu-jitsu. You're suffering. Great job. Well, it's not so much jiu-jitsu in itself, it's the idea that you're coming here and doing something that sucks. Because when everything in your life is easy, and it's so easy for that to be like that in 2024, I mean, dude, you got a device that's literally beaming dopamine straight to your brain, right? So it's like the second you feel uncomfortable, you can alleviate it. Whether it's, I mean, dude, I got 17-year-olds that vape and stuff, you know, so I have to like help them break that habit. I mean, that's literally the age that we're in these days. So we constantly have all these tools to numb the uncomfortableness, and it's like, and that's okay, because I have all the habits in the world, dude. I mean, you saw me, I was like, can I bring my energy drink in here? You know, I'm a sucker. And the point being is that you have to realize like how much that we're easing ourselves and going into the comfortableness, and we have to find ways to lean back into the suffering. It's like, whether it's going on a run, coming here, doing the meditation is suffering. If you you know, it's your brain wants to distract itself with phones, with screens, with thoughts of the future, thoughts of the past, being angry at someone, thinking about love. Like, it wants to do these things, but when you're like, I'm just going to sit here. Your brain will try to talk you out of all these different ways to do it. Or working, you know, like putting in work on your passions is, I feel like, another thing. I feel like meditation helps with those things, because you have to dial back in your focus.
What you said, everything exactly. That's how I think, and that's what it is. When you brought back that meditation part, since or at least I'm one of those people that likes to think of all kinds of things. I need to do this, I need to do that. So my mind's wandering everywhere, trying to focus and just practice on just your breathing, or just this moment, this present time. Stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about that. You know, bringing it back down. That's, like you said, it is part of suffering. Or trying to get that mental toughness to concentrate on the present, this second, now, you know, instead of, okay, what am I going to eat later on? Am I going to fast till 12 o'clock? Am I going to fast till 11? And all that, you know, you start thinking, okay, we're going to go train today. Oh, what shoes am I going to wear? You know, all that stuff. It's like, forget about all that. It's not even important. It's not right now. It's just this moment, you know, and that's why brain games, that's part of Hormesis, mental toughness, that sweating, being in hot surfaces, being in cold surfaces, all that stuff is all hormetic stress that we put ourselves in, you know, daily jiu-jitsu, putting it, thinking, and then you go to like, you train, and then you're trying to teach these kids something to look forward to aside from jiu-jitsu out of this, you know, in their general day-to-day life, you know, to have that mental strength also, not just in class. And that's very important. That's what I try to teach my little ones, or my older kids too. You know, I'm blessed that I've had great kids that do things, you know, on their own and stuff. But, you know, the little ones, I want them to understand, don't be privileged. Don't think that you get anything for free. You got to earn everything, whatever it is. You know, even the meal that we're giving you, you've earned it because you get good grades, because you're polite, because you're respectful, because you clean up after yourself and all that stuff. That's worth, you know, so.
Dang, yeah. So that's a smart way to think about it. I think that's like a huge thing that a lot of parents struggle with these days, right? Is how do you raise grateful children? But you're essentially telling them they got to earn everything. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, because it was hard for me growing up in a certain environment where it wasn't, you know, if I wanted a car, guess what I had to do? Go work and earn. And you know, my 32-year-old, when he wanted to get his car and everything, so Dad, he graduated, or he was already 18, 19. So, you know, I want to get a car, Mom. I'll do you a favor. You can come work with us, and you're going to earn your car. You're going to get a job, and you're going to go and pick rebar, whatever it takes to earn a paycheck. And guess what? He bought his car, you know?
Yeah.
That's how he earned it.
Yeah.
He worked.
So I bet you treated it a lot different than if you would have gave it to him.
Oh, yeah. If I would have given it to him, probably would have
wrecked it,
crashed it, you know?
Yeah, be trash running in the dirt. Yeah, no, that's a huge thing, because I think about that a lot. You know, it's like we all want things, but the second you get it, if you really didn't do anything to earn it, it becomes something that you're not going to take care of, because there's nothing to tie you to it. But when you're like, no, I freaking had to get, like, I had a camera, and I'm telling you, I ended up having to give it up because I ended up just advancing towards the phones. It was easier for the mobile podcast. But the camera, dude, I had the one, trying to be a full-time athlete, you know, full-time content creator, no money in that. And I needed a camera, and the only way for me I could come up with the money was doing take the plasma. Plasma, dude, I'm donating plasma, dude. And you can ask, I'm obsessed with that camera. Brought it with me everywhere. Dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I
take care of it like your little baby.
Yeah, dude. I had it right here. I bought a nice pack for it, and it had like a nice cage. Like, man, I made sure that if I was gonna get it and I was gonna do it, that it was gonna be. And I literally had it with me all the time. Yeah. And I used the shit out of it. So, it took me where I am now. With my own podcast. So, I'm definitely grateful for that camera. But it's like if someone just would have gave me the camera.
It wouldn't have been.
I wouldn't have been excited about it.
Exactly. Exactly.
If you can like imagine like working for something and you're dreaming about it for months, dude. When you get it, I listened to the 50-minute YouTube, manual, so that I knew all the settings, like all this stuff. But if someone's like, oh, hey, here, got this,
whatever.
I might play with this one.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We're just more grateful whenever we earn something. We're definitely grateful. I know. Looking at my kids and myself, that when I know I've earned it, I know, okay, it's like going to a jiu-jitsu tournament. No one shows up in your weight class or whatever. You're like, you get a gold medal. You're like, what's this? Pay for something, If I'm going to pay for something, I better earn it, So.
Well, I've seen people be like just super proud of like second place medals and shit just because of like all the wars they went through to get it,
True. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a little story. My little ones, they wrestle too. So, we just got back from, what was it? About a month ago, they just did freestyle state tournament. And the little one, he's 5, but he was an 8U, but there were some kids that were probably 6 or 7. But there was 3 of them. And in Greco and freestyle. And he took 3rd on both of them, okay? It was only 3. On his medals we put on there. Maybe it's bad, but at the same time, I know when he earns it, it's because he tries hard. But he was just out there doing his thing and just didn't put 100% effort. And he knew and we put on there, did not earn on there. And then he was all like sad. And the next day he's like, oh, we're going to put that did not earn, but next time I'm going to earn it. And I'm like, yes, next time you're going to earn it.
Yeah.
So we want him to know he got 3rd, but didn't really get 3rd,
Yeah.
Now, if he would, I don't care if they win or lose, it's earning that they put in that effort and they went and gave 100%, not laid on his back and just said, oh, I'm going to get pinned. I'm going to get a medal. Or, there's only 3 of us, I want to understand that just earn it, work hard. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, just go out there and give 100%. Anything less, you didn't try hard enough, So, and they're okay with it, They're like, hey, they're kids anyways. They forget about what happened an hour ago, They're like, all right, what's next? So,
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Well, it reminds me of, because when we first talked, you kind of like threw out some books, because we were just like really trying to understand where each other were at. And you threw out Don Miguel Ruiz. And I was like, oh, no, I love that guy. But he wrote the 4 principles. And one of the main principles is always do your best.
Always do your best.
And, it's just like, it's not so much like you should do your best because, it's the right thing or whatever. But that when you do your best, like no one can say anything against you.
Yes.
It's like, I did my best. I did the best.
Yes.
And it's like that actually frees you, because when you don't do your best, then it is your fault and it is your responsibility because you should have done whatever. But when you do your best, the mistakes didn't matter. Doesn't matter what you messed up. It's like, because now you know for next time.
The guilt's not there.
Yeah.
Even though we shouldn't be hard on ourselves, the guilt, but we know if we tried our best or we did,
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter who we try to tell or not, as long, if we know, we know, and like you said, when you got to raise somebody very wise and just simple, he keeps it simple to explain what we should do, how we should live our lives, and if you just live like that, things would be a lot easier with everybody, Yeah.
One thing I'll tie back into jiu-jitsu too about the always doing your best thing. Because, a lot of times too, you're not even capable of doing your best. It takes like skill to be even able to do your best. Like one of the things I'll notice, like sometimes you'll go against somebody that's like, has a name, like that they're good. and you're mentally beat before you even go against them. Like they've already defeated you because you already imagine them to be so good. And then after the roll, you're like, I did not roll the same. I was like, I tapped that, but I could have gotten out of that.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, you know, or someone will tell you that and you'll be like, dude, I think you didn't try as hard because you thought you were already going to lose. And you're like, dude, you know what? I did do that.
Yeah.
I think I could have went a little harder and I could have made it a little better. And then that like motivates you to that, you know what? I'm gonna get that match back one of these days, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like, again, just like real growth, right? It's like even doing your best takes skill because you have to like have that confidence, that, you know, that repeated effort. Like you can't do your best in a competition if you're not like seasoned, right?
Yeah.
You have to like kind of do multiple competitions before you can even really rise to the occasion.
Yeah. Well, it's consistently. That's right. Consistently mat time. It's a whole different thing from practicing, you know, and you're out there competition. You're both out there to win.
Yeah.
And in practice, not saying that you're not, but you're with your partner. You don't want to hurt them. They don't want to hurt you and stuff like that. But when you're out there, you're going out there. Hey, better man's going to come out ahead. You know, sometimes the better man even loses and stuff like that. But you know that competition mode is a little different than practice mode. So you're going to get better by if you're a competitor. The only way you're going to get better is by going out there and trying and putting yourself, taking risks, you know, being vulnerable, because there's going to be people, like you said, they're probably way better, but you find a way to beat them or they find a way to beat you, you know, somewhere.
Yeah,
that little grit, that's where that resilience, that mental toughness and all that stuff, like not giving up when things get tough, you know? So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then I want to bring up, Tori, will you hand me that little nail thing right there? I just want to bring up this nail thing. I know we talked about it like right before we started the podcast, but just give me one. I don't need both. Yeah. So yeah, he's got these little nail beds and
a little
this
soldering board.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you were able to stand on both of these, dude, and I couldn't even put like a part of my weight on this. This thing hurts so much. But this is like, yeah, just that idea. So it's like there's many different ways to suffer, right? And it's all trying to do the same thing, which is to bring you to the present moment, right? That's why like one of the biggest things of jiu-jitsu is that when you come to jiu-jitsu, you're not thinking about anything else. You're thinking about how to survive each round, right? And so it's a process of bringing you to the present moment. And then that's what the ice is, the ice bath, the sauna, and each of those scenarios. I mean, you can try your best to try to like think about other things, but pretty much you're like right here, right now, focused on like breathing.
You're suffering at the present time, and you're putting your body, your mind, your feelings, all that, and you're suffering at that present time.
Right.
You know, that's.
And, you know, you might be wondering to yourself, like, okay, well, what's the benefit of the present moment, you know? And besides this idea, like one, when you're in your thoughts all day, every day, which we all are, you're living in a distorted reality. It's not reality. Mm-hmm. It's a made up reality. And I think that we all know people that live inside their heads, and those are the kinds of people we try to avoid. You know, we all got a friend or a brother or a sister or a parent that's like, you know, whatever is going on in their head is like manifesting in their reality. And when you can separate yourself from those thoughts by tapping into the present, you realize that you're one, living in a different reality, and that reality is different. And then two, supposedly, you know, the way you get access to information or, you know, higher levels of being or consciousness or being able to tap into the muse, whatever that means to you, it can only be done by being in the present moment. That you can't, you know, if you wonder to yourself how people are able to be super creative or artistic or, you know, what would you say, innovative, they have to be present. You can't not be present and be innovative. And so if you're like stuck in your life or you're having a bunch of problems that maybe you can't solve, believe it or not, thinking about the problem may not be the answer, but to simply not think
Mm-hmm.
might be the answer. And, you know, these are just one of many different ways that you could achieve that.
Yeah. Yes. I like what you just said right now, just because, you know, that and it goes back to Miguel Ruiz, his books and everything, how he talks about, and Buddhists, different people talk about the same stuff, that we are constantly thinking about the past, all the mistakes and stuff like that we've made. It passed. I mean, 5 minutes ago passed. It's not going to come back. So any mistake I would have done in 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, it's not going to make a difference. It already passed. What did I learn from it? What can I do? And then think about the future that hasn't even happened. We assume so much that, this, and it, in an hour, 2 hours tomorrow, we assume that we got to do this, or assume anything, good or bad, doesn't even happen the way we start manifesting in our head, that we start, and that's where we get caught up in the past, in the future, and we can't live the present. We're so stuck. We've been indoctrinated or taught that we should feel guilty about all the stuff that's happened in the past, worry about the future, from capitalism to everything, if you don't make good money, you're not going to have this, you're not going to have that, and you're all, and we put all that, it goes back to stress, and then we start going back to the present, putting ourselves in painful situations, stuff like that helps us release stress. It all combines, and I don't even know if I'm making sense, but it's all relative to one another. But it has to begin by living today, the present, now. And that's the best way that we're going to live our lives, by constantly understanding that we're living today, this moment, and we can only live this moment. Mm-hmm. And that's how we can get to higher consciousness, higher belief system, be more grateful, and be more understanding towards not just ourselves, but others that come and go in our lives, and then that's where you start picking and choosing what works for us and what doesn't, so
right.
Yeah. And like you said, in jiu-jitsu, same thing. You're at the present state right there. Doesn't matter. You can start, especially you start going to competition, you start thinking of this or thinking of that. I'll tell you, I never watch any of my competitors' videos or anything like that, just because I have a game plan.
That's what you're doing.
That's what I'm going to do. And if that doesn't work, then I have second or third plan, but I go back to my original, I stick to it, and then it's worked. It's worked, and obviously as you start competing more in bigger competitions, you're going to meet people that are going to be in your, like a rival kind of, I have one right now he's great and everything like that. And he's been winning everything lately. He's not been injured, but you know what? I look forward to meeting him, in Vegas again, Hell yeah. We're 1-1 right now. I lost him. He won Masters and I took second to him. And then last Masters, I beat him. But then I lost my next competition to the guy that ended up winning, But we're 1-1, so we got, he just won Pans, I think, and he won Pans the year before, so.
Damn.
Yeah.
What belt are you?
Purple.
Purple, hell yeah, dude.
So,
Hey. Purple's beating up all the karate black belts out there, right? Karate black belts.
You see a lot of these kids right now, blues and purples that are studs.
Yeah,
I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, man, they're just smashing everybody,
Yeah, like I said, dude, I got two 16-year-old white belts, dude. They're better than me at purple belt because they know all the leg locks. They know how inversions, the back takes. Because I'm showing them all my stuff that took me that I didn't learn until I was a brown belt, And I literally beat them up now, and I tell them, I'm like, I won't be able to beat y'all up very long. I got about another year. The second they turn 17, 18, get a little muscle on them, and they're blue belts and know all my tricks.
Yeah.
And I'm only 32.
I was thinking about you're my kids that have messed around with that one. I'm going to beat you up until I can't no more.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to realize, hey, I got to give it up.
You have to, dude. They're on another level with it for sure. Yeah, so, man, this has been a great podcast, and I'm glad I've had you on, dude. Mm-hmm. And I like to end all the podcasts with just some advice questions.
Yeah.
And just for the audience, you know, they're like, oh, why would I take advice from Alex Chinchilla?
Yeah.
Well, dude, you're running an awesome business here. You help out a lot of Marines. When we were chatting, that was like one of the main things that caught my eye of how many veterans that you helped. I think, yeah, what was it that you were telling me? I think you like it was like nonprofits or something?
Yeah, so my wife and I started, so my brother was a scout sniper in the Marines and he was killed in 2010. And how we came up with our nonprofit was my mom, a lot of people were donating money after my brother was killed, and she was buying care packages and everything, sending them overseas and stuff. Well, it was difficult because trying to get certain things to certain units and stuff like that, and they spread them out. Sometimes they wouldn't get stuff, you know, how it is, you know. I mean, you served, so you know, but trying to get all that and trying to get the chaplain to give us the information where they were going to be at. Sometimes you wouldn't know. They would be stationed somewhere overseas, and then they already had left, and we wouldn't know until afterwards, you know. So, and then when he started dying out, a lot of people weren't donating as much, and we're like, okay, let's do a golf tournament. And from that golf tournament, we just donated all the money, and then we did it again. And then one of my brother's sniper instructors said, hey, you guys need to open up a nonprofit, save some of the funding so you don't have to start from scratch all over again. And then we opened up Nux for Life. So Nux for Life means Nux brass knuckles, the Nux for life. So when my brother was killed, everybody came back except my brother from deployment, and we went to 29 Palms. My mom, my siblings, we all went and received him, and they all came to the house afterwards. They all gave my mom a rose when they got off the bus and everything, and they called themselves brass knuckles. My brother used to have brass knuckles on his chest, in name of my mom. My mom's tough love, like tough like brass knuckles, but over his heart, you know. So they all got the brass knuckles and the sniper insignia, and they said Nuts for Life. We're a family, you know. So then we said, hey, can we use that name? We like that Nuts for Life. So that's your guys' name. That comes from Claudio, you know. So we start using that Nuts for Life. So from there, we started continuing doing the golf tournament, and now it's gone. We sell out every year, the golf tournament, and we got sponsors from California, from everywhere, you know, that helps us help not just Marines, other servicemen. We work with Labs for Liberty, who they race dogs for veterans, anybody that, and we require just one requirement: combat vets. We want them to be combat vets or families from combat vets, you know. So they've raised dogs for a fallen soldier family, the kids, to help them, you know, go through the pain and stuff that they're going through. So whatever it takes to help these veterans, you know, there's a lot of guys that are going through whatever they're going through, and we don't believe that the VA and other government agencies are helping our veterans. And if we could help them out in one way or another, you know, sponsor them for jiu-jitsu classes, tournaments, bear hunt trip. We do a bear hunt trip in Walla Walla. We send guys out there. One of the guys that served with my brother, he's a board member, Nat. He lives in Walla Walla. He's a police officer over there. So he does a bear hunt trip every year. We send guys out there to get out of their heads and help them, you know, reunite with other military, other Marines or Army veterans, you know. And we also help out Warfighter Maid, Rob, who was a recon sniper also. He Silver Star recipient. He has a nonprofit in Marietta, California, who helps out double, triple amputees that going through things, and then it helps build their cars so they can get in and out. into their vehicles and, soups them up and everything. So he helps those out. We also do a scholarship with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. There's a scholarship in my brother's name, and we donate to that every year to help, somebody that needs to go to school and everything. So we try to do whatever we can, but honestly, without the people, without the support from the community, we couldn't do anything, So it's really everybody uniting to help out our veterans,
Yeah.
So.
Well, dude, obviously next time you do this golf tournament or whatever, dude, let me know. I'd love to help out any way that I could.
Yeah.
Whether it's
September 20th this year.
September 20th,
here in Kingwood.
Whether it's like media coverage or commentary or whatever it is, I'd love to help because, veterans is a close thing to my heart too. So when you're telling me about all the things that you help, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to make the time to come see you and be here. So I appreciate that, dude. And, so advice question, right? Successful business, helping people out. Dude, you're 53, you're in shape, purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Dude, the fact that you can stand on these things for 10 minutes and take it is insane. You can do 5 minutes in the cold tub. I'm sure you're a beast in the sauna. What would be your piece of advice for, someone looking to, maybe they're in a rut and they're looking to like level up, or they're like, man, they're trying to accomplish something and they're not getting there, and they feel like, because, everyone kind of goes through like a down stage, and sometimes they need like a little kickstart to kind of get going. Well, what would your piece of advice?
Well, one of the things I would probably say is find somebody, a mentor, somebody that they believe they could look up to, and see what they're doing to be as a positive role model. But I think to answer that more sincere, I think people that give back helps heal any kind of wound and stuff like that. Give back to any kind of community. A homeless person giving, I think, helps us. It helps us heal our wounds, our heart. Being kinder really helps, the mental aspect, because we all go through hardships, that's part of life. But I think when we give back, it heals us and it makes us a little better people, and I think that's more important than anything else, because our world's full of selfish people, but if we could just give a little bit, and it doesn't have to be a lot, just go help out in a local community, go to a soup exchange and serve, something like that. It's going to make you a happier person. And then your mindset starts changing. You start seeing that, oh man, there's positive things out there, I think giving is the most important thing.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of that saying of like, if you need help, start by finding someone you can help, kind of thing. And it also reminds me too of like, like the closest thing you can get to like being like a god or, a very powerful figure is like taking care of like an animal or something, right? It's like, if you want to be like, or feel all powerful and, in your power and being able to like provide, it's like, dude, being able to have an animal and give it love and food and a place to stay is like, that thing's like God. Whether it's a dog or a hamster or a cat. We have 2 cats. And it's like, these 2 little things rely on us,
For sure.
And anyway, it's like, I feel like, that can get lost as why people get pets, but it's like, taking care of something, whether it's a pet or a human, it like does something for us, it's like, Tori always tells me, she's like, they're here for us more than we're here for them. I'm like, so true. It's like, because they, back to the present moment, that's what they're for. They're always in the present. So.
And they're not judgmental.
Yeah. Unless you're on your phone. And then they're like, why are you on this thing?
I need your time. Yeah. What about you? What do you think? I mean, I know we're talking about me and Reese, but what's your greatest gift that you think you have that you could give, or that you believe that you can offer?
Man, that's a good question. Right now, I feel like I have a really good skill with this podcast. It's here recently kind of turned into a thing where I've kind of been able to relate to people and get them to open up. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to be a part of like some really powerful stories. So I really like that. Someone was telling me that it's like my ability to connect with people. So I do, I do appreciate that ability. I feel like I learned that from the Marine Corps. Because then I taught martial arts in the Marine Corps. And sure, martial arts in the Marine Corps doesn't make you a badass, but what it does do is it surrounds you with, savages, mm-hmm. And one of the cool things I learned from a really powerful leader was that, we don't teach martial arts, we teach leadership through martial arts. And he was just a very powerful leader. And, he taught me a lot, of how to listen. Mm-hmm. He was like, people listen, but they don't actually listen. He's like, can you listen and you make that person feel like they're the only person in the room kind of thing? It's like, yeah, I could listen to you and type on my laptop.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe I can hear everything you said. But would you feel like I was listening to you if I was also on my laptop while you're talking, kind of thing? And it's like, so being surrounded by these like people that inspire, that was a huge thing that they taught us, like, what is leadership? And his definition was, I remember it to this day, is the ability to inspire somebody to do something that they thought that they couldn't do or didn't want to do. And he was like, listen to that again. It's like the ability to inspire somebody. He's like, not telling them what to do. That's a boss. Mm-hmm. He's like, anybody can be a boss. Mm-hmm. I can give anyone in here a billet and tell them you're in charge of these 3, make them go do whatever. Yeah. Anyone can do that. Mm-hmm. He's like, but can you inspire them to want to do it?
Really?
Right. Or do something that they couldn't do. He's like, overcome fear, right? Attack the battlefield, take the line, knock down the door. Or here you have a troubled student or who doesn't listen and doesn't want to do anything. Anyone can be like, hey, fuckhead, go do this. Yeah. But can you switch his mindset to be like, now that he wants to do it for you or whatever. And that's the skill of leadership. And so I feel like I've discovered that in podcasting in a sense that like I've learned how to inspire people, So I guess that's the best that I can come with besides being a jiu-jitsu coach.
Well, I think it has to do with, goes back to kindness and understanding and being able to relate and understand people, empathetic, have that empathy. Mm-hmm. When people have empathy, I think people get attracted to that person or that because they feel that they're being heard or listened to. Understood. So that has a lot to do, people that are not empathetic come out cold and stuff. So I think
it's easy to get caught up in that with the core too.
Oh yeah, because they want. That's what they
suck
want.
It up.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Suffer in silence. Yeah, kind of thing, right? Yeah. I've learned a lot of my empathy skills from Tori over here. She's super. If someone wanted you to define an empath, I would just say Tori. Definitely like next level, can like tune into people, and through seeing her do it to people, I've like picked up on that skill and applied it with like my leadership knowledge. She don't listen, but yeah, man. No, I appreciate you asking me that question, dude. It's episodes like this that remind me of like what I'm supposed to be doing, which is, I'm not no Joe Rogan, but there are a bunch of people with badass stories like you, like a good friend of mine I had on the last one, Mike, dude, he blew my mind on a podcast, and it's like, there's like 60 jiu-jitsu gyms here in Houston, and each one of those gyms has like 20 people with just like crazy stories. I mean, dude, I didn't even get to it, but you told me, because I don't know if they're gonna chop it up and add that back in there, but dude, you told me you got stabbed, which is just like, so, the scariest thing in this reality is facing death. Nothing comes close. Anything that even remotely like gets you to fear is the fear of death, really, right? Like heights is a fear of death. Spiders, you're scared of dying. And, the scariest thing is when you actually see death, when you're like, this actually could be it. It's the most terrifying thing in the world. And when I was part of the martial arts course, there were 2 guys there that had gotten stabbed. And they told their story of like, I thought that was it, dude. I thought that was it for me.
Mhm.
And then I saw whatever they described death to be, and they were like, and I thought I was gonna wake up in heaven, but I woke back up in the ambulance and they saved my life.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 guys experienced that, where one guy's driving and a crackhead like pulled up and stabbed him in the car, tried to jack his money, and then another dude got into a fight, and he said he didn't even notice that the dude had a little pipe. And like when they like grappled, he said the dude was stabbing him in the back the whole time. He didn't even know. So the dude like runs away and he's chasing him, and he said he didn't even know all the blood coming out of his back. So he said he just collapsed, and then like he like crawled to the wall, and he was like, well, this is it. And it's just like, man, like the thought of that is like, you know, shake you to your whole being. You know? And I've had some experiences where I thought that was it. And yeah, there's nothing more scary than this. I would like you to tell me about this story that prevented you from joining the Corps.
Well, I'll tell you another one. So that one, you know, growing up in the neighborhood, we're always fighting, we see it all. And we're out there fighting, and next thing I know, get stabbed in the back, you know, punch my lung. I didn't really, I was like, feeling like something in the back of my, give me the truck. We go back to my friend's house, and they were playing pool in the garage. Some of the guys were playing, it was a whole bunch.
You don't even know you're stabbed, bro.
Yeah. Well, at that time, I already know. I'm like, oh man, I feel like my back, and you know, but I'm not bleeding from the outside, you know, no blood. And oh, it's just a little cut, you know, and I'm like, man, I don't feel good.
Dang.
We go inside the garage, and as soon as I go inside the garage, people are smoking in the garage, you know, and like I can't breathe now, and I go outside and start throwing up, and I start throwing up blood. And one of the guys, older guy, he goes, oh, I bet your lungs punctured. I know, because that happened to me. Taking me to the hospital. So they're taking me and they're driving me, and I'm already going, like, shaking and everything. I'm like, why am I shaking? You know? So they ended up, I'm like, drop me off. No, just drop me off. Just drop me off there and get out of here. And they drop me off, and then they come running and they take me in. And I remember what you said, because I even said, am I going to die? Like, you know, because I see the doctor like, oh, man, and taking x-rays. I'm all like, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I'm 18 years old, you know? And then they put, you know, it went through my rib cage to start pumping the blood out of my lungs and everything like that. And, you know, the doctor came in and goes, okay, he's good now. And, you know, well, that's it. You know, here he is over there. Oh my God. You know what? It's scaring me. And then this guy comes in here and he goes, okay, he's good.
Yeah.
So anyways, that prevented me from going to the Marine Corps. 6 months, they postponed it 6 months, and through that time, still growing up in the neighborhood, other stuff happened, got in trouble, and, you know, just no war in the time. It would have been 2 years later, it would have been Desert Storm, and I would have
sent your ass no matter what.
Hey, get out of here, you know, you go now.
Yeah.
But but I'll tell you a little story if you still have a couple minutes.
Yeah, tell it.
We came from California. We moved over here. There's a project here in Houston that we're doing for the company I work for. My wife and I work for. So I'm staying at an apartment that my wife had rented for all the guys that are working here from California. We're staying, and we had leased the house. And that night, all our furniture and everything comes from California. Shows up. One of the drivers that for our company delivers everything. So we hired a local moving company to help us unload everything. So unload everything. And I'm all, hey, you want to go grab something to eat? Get to the driver. He's all, sure, let's go eat some sushi. I'm all right, let's go. And I even asked the guys that helped us move, and oh, we got to go somewhere else. I'm all right. So we go, we eat, and I'm going to stay at the apartment. We just move everything inside the house. And the driver goes, Scotty, he's all, hey, just pick up my sandwiches in the fridge. I left it there. I'm going to take off in the morning. I'm going to stay in the truck and I'm going to drive out. I'm all right. Let's stop. We stop, pull in. And I'm like, you want to get down? He said, no, just wait right here. We'll leave the truck running. And I go to the front and I see the door open. I'm like, oh man, I didn't close the door. I'm like, hopefully somebody didn't break in. And as soon as I take a step inside the door, I see it's been kicked in the door. And I'm like, shit. So I'm walking out and I hear noise on the side of the house. And this is in Clear Lake, nice neighborhood. And I'm all, man. And I hear noise like bushes or something like, some dry leaves or something. And I go around, it's a corner house, and I look and I see two guys on the top of the wall. And so I run around and one of them jumps down, takes off running across the street. And the other one is up there on the wall. Oh, you fucked up, motherfucker. I'm all, better get down and fucking kick your ass, And he's all, he looks like a possum. And then he's on top and he gets on top of the gate on the side of the house. So the wall is made out of brick, but he jumps in on the front of the house. On the lawn, he starts running, so I have to go around the bushes and stuff. So I start chasing him, and I catch him right behind my truck, and I grab him, and before I threw him, I grabbed him, and I punched him a couple times on the side, and I grabbed him, and I threw him on the ground, so I get on top of him, and I grab his arm like an Americana, and I had a Band-Aid on my finger, and I go, oh, that was the knife that cut me earlier when I was cutting boxes, and I cut myself, and I go, so he doesn't move, I'm all, take it out, I'm all, don't move, I have a knife, don't move. I'll stab you if you move. Don't stab me, I'm all, well, then don't move, I'm all, Scotty, get down, you broke into the house. Nothing, I'm all. And he's all, no, I'm all. Then I hear a car, and I'm all, oh, it's his buddy, and I see him, and he takes off, I'm all, so he's moving again, and I'm all, stop moving, and I poke him just enough so he can say, hey, I'm not kidding. Stop moving. And he's still fighting. It's okay, I can't breathe. Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if you can't breathe. You should have, been broke my house. Yeah. So he's still, and then all of a sudden he starts moving again. And I hear, I'm all, Scotty, and nothing. But I hear, and I look and I turn around. Right when I turn around, I see this guy trying to punch me. So I duck and I feel him hit my head. And then I had the knife and I tag him like in the leg and he steps back. And then he's, get him. And the guy gets up and he takes off running. He's all, I'm out of here. I'm all, screw that, So they both take off running. So I'm all, I already caught up to him. I'll catch him again.
You just came back, you're like looking back.
And right when he gets to the door of the truck and he's ready to close it, I open it and I feel wet, like my face. I'm all, no, it's not raining. I'm all white. And I go like this, and it's like full of blood. And I go, and I can feel my finger in my skull. And I go, and maybe not put everything that I'm going to say, but then I'm so I stick him in the leg, and then I don't know if in the stomach or something, and he kicks the knife out of my hand, and they take off, Well, I go back, and Scotty's on the damn phone. Scotty opened the door, he's all, what happened? So I call my wife, I'm already on the phone. I'm all, hey, love, I just got stabbed. She's like, what? Well, what happened? I'm all, she's like, no, we got to move out. I'm like, no. And they're flying the next day. My kids, her, and my mom are flying in. So, well, what's going on? I'm like, don't worry. Right across the street, that was an emergency room. So I'm just going to walk across the street and have them check it out. They ended up putting staples and everything. I'll show you pictures later. And big old slash. So the guy had like brass knuckle with a blade, and I had a lump, but a nice clean slice. And I'm all, I know Texans aren't too fond of Californians right now, but there's other ways to greet me than a stab, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just a joke about that.
Dude, I'm glad you didn't hit you clean, dude.
If I turn, if you didn't clean, who knows? I mean,
dude, yeah.
Anywhere, you know?
You've been
I mean,
gonzos.
who knows? Face, neck, back. But if I went to ducky, it was like, I felt the thump and then but I didn't feel the cut, obviously, and I could literally stick my finger and I could feel my skull, you know?
Oh, man.
And so I ended up getting staples, and then when I got the staples removed, I asked, it's 25% healed and everything like that, and PANS was coming up. And I was like, well, can I go compete? What do you do? Oh, no, jiu-jitsu. Well, I don't know. I probably opened up and everything. And then, and it was that weekend. I just got them removed. And it was that weekend, that Thursday or Wednesday, and I'm all debating. I'm all, if I don't go, I'm always going to be saying I should have went.
Yeah.
And I ended up going. I ended up winning.
What?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah. But that was a white belt. I ended up at, had to go down to, and I'm so glad I went, because then I would have been, what would have happened if I won again? I would have been, what if,
Yeah, yeah.
And you put your fears, it goes back to putting your fears away of the unknown, just going for it,
Go for it.
So, so it was big old slice, But,
yeah. Well, I'm glad you're okay, man.
Yeah, it's, I look at it as life,
Yeah.
things, and you got to make the most of the, Houston. But I think if they were really thuggish, he wouldn't have ran up 3. He would have probably shot me or something like that, If they really,
Yeah, but
they're just, they were just probably petty thieves that want to break in.
So, but it wasn't the guys that were helping you move?
We don't know.
Oh, dang, you don't even know.
We don't know. The guy dropped his phone. We found it, but it was Houston PD then even, and by the time I remember, it really looked like it was dark and, so.
Damn.
But, man, I was probably better off holding on to the phone and having an IT guy open it up for me.
Yeah.
Scotty found it, so, we found his phone and didn't.
Dang.
Yeah.
Freaking Scotty.
Scotty.
Wasn't around when you needed him.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty didn't know.
Where was Scotty when I needed him? In the car.
Huh? Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
He felt so bad. Well, Scotty, you were just on your phone.
Having a damn war.
Yeah. Right in front of him.
Yeah.
Right behind him to the side,
I play a lot of Call of Duty with Tori and my brother just sometimes because my brother lives in North Texas, 5 hours away, but we'll both jump on Call of Duty and I just talk. It's on our phone, so not even that serious.
Yeah.
And I always joke with them that they'll be looting boxes while I'm in a full-on war, shooting, having this huge interaction. I'm like, where are you guys? There's this hilarious meme where it just cuts to them. It cuts to your friend and he's looting boxes and it's got this little beat bop music doo, 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 doo. I just imagine your friend in there doo, 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 doo.
Thanks a lot for the backup.
Friend's about to die.
Thanks for the backup.
For real. Man, Alex, it's been a pleasure having you on, dude.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. We know we have a place where people can come out here, feel. All our rooms are private. They can come in here, relax, get away from all the hustle and bustle that's out there, and, come out refreshed, rejuvenated, feel well, If it's a mental, physical, whatever it is, they can come out here. And, we have our meditation room also. So it's open for whoever wants to try it out,
Heck yeah. Well, and I love this elephant. But yeah, man, it's been a great podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been the Scotty P podcast. Catch you guys around.
Thank you.